the final thing I'm going to talk about gear review-wise, thankfully, and this makes me so proud of the audience and so happy for you guys, the number one gear question I get is on the most important piece of kit any man can have here on this earth, and that's a Bible. I get asked, what translation of the Bible? And that's an important question because some are better than others. Some are more true to the source. And most of us don't speak ancient Greek or ancient Hebrew or Latin to read the Vulgate or the Textus Receptus or whatever the source was translated from. Some translations are more true than others. I like the New King James. The New King James is my go-to translation. I like the King James. It's very poetic. It's very beautiful. If I'm reciting like a psalm or something and I want it to sound beautiful, Old King James is beautiful. But as far as being able to read it and making it make sense the first time off the bat, the New King James, I think, stays as true to the translation as the Old King James, but with more modern English. Instead of like thy and thee and thou, it's mine and yours, which is how we talk today. When the King James was translated, it was translated for how they talked in the 1600s. Or I think the 1600s is when it was translated. But we generally don't talk like that anymore. I still like that translation, but my go-to is the New King James. And I recently found a translation that I really like. I don't know if it's as true to the original, but if you want something that is like really modern day English, I just found this at a bookstore and I went back and bought it because I liked it. It's in my stack right here. Let me pull it down. It's Good News for the Modern Man. The New Testament in today's English version. Now, some passages that I'm used to in the King James, New King James, I really like them better in that. But if you just want something to read that makes a lot of sense, this, or maybe for somebody that has never picked up a Bible and wants it to make sense in today's English, I like this translation. Just opened it. Let me read you from Ephesians 6 because that's what I opened to. Finally, build up your strength in union with the Lord, and by means of His mighty power, put on all the armor that God gives you, so that you will stand up against the devil's evil tricks. Again, a good, more modern, even more than the New King James modern translation. I like it. And if you want, or if I want, a good literal word-for-word translation, I really like the 1800s Young's literal translation. It's like a word-for-word translation. If I want to know what is this actually saying in the original text, I will go to that, and if I still have a question, I'll actually go to the actual Greek or Aramaic or ancient Hebrew text and translate it word for word if I really need to find out what it's saying. A good intermediate for that is Young's literal translation. It's a great translation. I wouldn't sit down and read it if I was going to read, like, let's say I was going to read the entire book of Romans today. It's very hard to follow because word-for-word translation means that. And sentence structure is different in ancient Hebrew than it is in English. So it's not hard to understand, but it's hard to read like large volumes because it's not in the same order. But Young's literal translation, I think, is a good go-to, and you can get it, Bible Hub or whatever on your phone. It's a translation that's on there. It's a good translation if you want to know literal, word for word, letra por letra, what it's saying. So I appreciate you guys asking me that, and it makes me proud of the audience that that's the number one question that I get, and I thought I would. Feel free to ask me questions about the Bible or any other questions at goodshepherdtraining.com.